You better believe we're going to the heart of the forest. I've been waiting for this moment, okay? It's been like a week since I played. But I've been waiting for this. I've been dreaming about it. What awaits us in the centrifuge? The centrifuge of the woodland creature land. What? We got a nice espresso ready before we take this first step. And today's espresso name, it's not intelligent. I think in the times ahead we're not going to need any intelligence. We're going to need gusto. And what reminds me of gusto? The man that goes by the name of Rico. Anybody who's named Rico has a lot of gusto in their veins. So we're drinking a Rico, rich and smooth espresso capsule. Where do we leave off here? We were just about to walk in, weren't we? And they're giving us the old 1-2, the old double check. Are you sure you want to do this? Are we going to ask the right for protection? I don't think so. I think we're going to crack our knuckles and say we're ready. We only have 12 days left, and a lot of people are like holding back information until we deal with this bandit queen. So I feel like we need to venture in. We can't hold back anymore. So I crack my knuckles. I'm ready. You're taking a look at your equipment. It's not much, but it got you so far. What matters is that you know how to use it. I don't know if I know how to use it. I don't even know what equipment I have. I search for tracks. For the tracks I found in the watchtower. Yeah, we want to follow these. We know they're bandits, right? Because we talked about the arrowhead and the feathers, and they kind of said that it's from the bandits, if I remember correctly. I searched for the tracks. The hard heels can't be mistaken, and the travelers didn't mask their steps. They passed the rock from both sides, heading deeper into the forest. I traveled to the gate in the west. Wait, all the way to the west? That's pretty far. The stream ahead can be crossed by a humble ford. Is it ford or fjord? A ford. Made of hundreds of rocks that used to reach from the bottom to the surface, but is now partially demolished, either by time or a living creature. For a rider, crossing it won't be much of a problem, but for most travelers would have to take their pants and shoes off. Moving an entire wagon would pose quite a challenge. The water is clean, and the banks are low. A good watering spot for Gordon. Wouldn't it be interesting if the game builds up this fear of the forest and going into this place as a means to deter people from going in, and in reality it's clean, it's peaceful, and the whole thing is a build-up? That would be an interesting twist. I don't think they're going to give it to us, but that'd be an interesting twist. A good water. I could spend some time gathering larger rocks and throwing them into the water. Wait. For a rider, crossing it won't be much of a problem. Why would we want to gather... Oh, that will allow other people to traverse here in the future. Is this foreshadowing that Gordon might die? We only have 8 hours. Let's do it. How long? An hour should be enough to cover at least half of the gaps. Let's do it. We're not half-assing this. You let Gordon graze and drink by the stream. You wander along the edge of the dark forest on one side and a colorful meadow on the other. You seek rocks smaller than your head. Carrying them makes you tired quickly. After you're done, the deepest holes are now filled by your rocks. Do we want to keep going? We're wasting too much time. Where are we? We're here. We're like fixing this fjord. I kind of feel like we want to fix the fjord, then go sleep, and then come back. I think we may do that. Just keep working on here piece by piece. We're going to make traversing this easy. Maybe we can get the golems to help us. I work some more. An hour is all I need. Jesus. Not unlike the builders from the days before the 10 cities, you put the last boulder, taming the scrap of the wilderness, even if slightly. The tightly arranged rocks remind you of a cobbled road leading to Hovlevin. Even a wagon carried by 2 mules could get to their side without stopping. We've initiated trade route alpha. Now we just need to get rid of all the dragons. I put on my boots and continue my journey. I stay around for a minute or two with my hands on my hips observing the results of my work. Absolutely. You can't just walk off. You gotta be like standing there and yes, this is good. I did good. You gotta earn that espresso. Can I turn around? The colors of leaves range from greens to purples and overwhelm you with shadows. The stems of the shrubs twisted in all directions, seeking the slightest scraps of sunlight. The trees are not too tall, but their trunks are as wide as buildings. The neglected road has been carved into the thicket. An inch at a time, a corridor of plants with a floor made of pebbles that give way to saplings and vines. From time to time, you pass by many turns, relics, left by roaming dragons, unicorns, and trolls. Some of them are still used by beasts, boars, striped cats, or packs of goblins. The birds are sharing their songs as cheerful as ever. It seems too peaceful. It seems too peaceful. When necessary, I clear any thicket that's in Gordon's way. You reach a gap in the tunnel of plants. The meadow nourishes a lonely tree, growing in the shadow of a rocky hill, surrounded by humble grasses. Near the tree roots, a wolf without fur is feasting on a human corpse, unaware of your presence. I look around, I look at the wolf, I look at the corpse, I look at the tree, I attack, I leave this place as quickly as I can. It's only a single wolf. And I'm pretty sure we learned that wolves in packs are the issue. If it's a single one, I'm pretty sure we can just scare it off. Let me check. We learned about everything, right? Wolves. A furless wolf charges at you like a runner. Okay, we may want to look at the wolf to find out if it's furless. According to Dal, there's a lovely pack of red ones. Once they bite you, they never let go. Some blue wolves. Okay, we need to find out what this wolf is, and then we can look at here. Alright, look at the wolf. It's standing on all fours, crouching forward, tearing away chunks of flesh with the massive canines. Its head, and especially its jaw, are wide and long, like those of a horse. Its brown shell is muscular, with pronounced shoulder blades, the hair resembling your arms, and tuft of black fur at the end of its foot-long tail. The beast raises its head, its ears are shaking. Okay. Tuft of black. It's brown with a tuft of black fur at the end. Okay. There's red ones, blue ones. Their furs are valuable. Even the gray ones. They abandon those, be helped. But the furless wolves, they are the worst. They live alone, but are as dangerous in entirety. Once you find, you can't run. We don't know anything about this one. We paid a lot of money for this. We worked hard, and she didn't give us any information about tuft of black fur ones. Did they talk about? There was even brown ones. Damn it! I guess we're not prepared at all. Okay, but it's not furless. As long as we know it's not a furless one, I think we'll be okay. I look at the corpse. You don't see much from afar. It's in one piece, with blood-soaked clothing torn to pieces, indistinguishable from those flaps of loose skin. It has no sacks, bags, or equipment, but you spot a trail of blood leading into the trees. The creature must have dragged the shell from the deeper woods. The beast turns its head towards you. Its eyes are like shining charcoal. I look at the tree. The trunk, like many others, is covered with claw marks, but the only creature hiding among the sparse leaves is a lonely squirrel. It runs its eyes from the beast towards you, then back. The beast turns its head towards you. Its eyes are like shining charcoal. I look around. I want to get as much as I can. Oh, okay, now he's pissed. We stalled too much. The beast turns towards you, fixing its eyes on your palfrey. Its long mouth is covered in blood. As an experienced warrior, you know that the creature has the upper hand. Your armor won't be enough to protect you from its claws and fangs. After maybe 2 breaths, it moves, speeding up, ready to strike. Wait, it's just a little wolf. I jump down, preparing my axe and shield. I think we can take this thing, and then we're going to leave and sleep. Gordon takes a few steps forward, too scared to stay at your side, but too smart to enter the forest all by itself. The wolf will jump on me. I'll duck beneath it and cut its stomach. I'm ready to step aside, avoiding the charge. I hold my ground, ready to strike back. It will stop and try to bite me. I need to attack first. We know that the wolves will pounce, right? They were mentioning about the furthest ones, at least. So I think trying to step aside... Wait. Let me read it one more time. And jumps right at your throat. But it's not a furless one. You must stay brave, especially when it charges at you. It's going to jump at your neck. Duck beneath it as quickly as you can. This is not a furless wolf, though. But I'm assuming we can do the same strategy. The stratagem. I'll duck beneath it. You slide beneath the jumping creature as it's in the air, aiming at the place where your throat used to be. Losing balance, you take a swing with your axe, but find only air. Your knee burrows in the grass, and your weaker hand helps you keep your balance. I get up. The beast walks around you with a lowered head, seeking an opportunity. You can't tell anything from its black eyes. Your foe keeps its distance, hesitant to strike. Ooh. Bait it into biting the armor, then chop it. It may be my only chance to do so, but I throw my axe at it. Ooh. I jump forward, swinging at it while avoiding its jaws. I hit it with an axe throw, though won't get fooled twice. What if we hit it with the axe and it runs off and then we don't have an axe anymore? But this is a unique one, right? It's unique to our character, so I feel like we have to do this. And we are pretty good at axe throwing. We've won a lot of gambles, so I don't know if there's like a hidden stat going on with that. Unleash it. The rotating blades cuts its cheek, sending a scrap of flesh into the air. With a painful whimper, the wolf meets your eyes, but after you step closer, it flees. I chase after it until it disappears among the trees. Jeez. The faithful, we just got an achievement, relied on their faith during the journey. I don't know if we relied on the faith of throwing our axes, faith in ourselves. You take a couple of deep, slow breaths and stretch out your arms. Gordon is looking around, stepping in place. I examine the corpse. Is this going to be one of the guys we had to find? I think so. Parts of its chest, face, neck, and arms were turned into a red mush. The wolf didn't break any bones, not even the ribs. The first worms start to crawl over its blood-soaked clothes. The human was a male with brown skin and short black hair. His brown pants and green jacket were made of dyed leather. Inside the left ear you spot a trinket made of an animal bone, which contrasts with the dark skin and lures your eyes away from the blood. Knowing Ephron's description, you have no doubts. You found Vaskal. I remove the earring. We need evidence. With a few splashes of water, you wash the cold blood off your hands with a knife. I think we gotta burn the corpse, right? There's plenty of birds gathering at the edge of the meadow, waiting for you to walk away from the next meal. The larger beasts will come soon. You don't have much time, surely not enough. If we try and burn him, more beasts might come. We only have 5 hours. I feel like we don't have time. We're not like... Okay, my church requires that I set humans on fire. I'll spare a few minutes doing the bare minimum. The bare minimum, that doesn't mean we're not going to make a pyre. I'm more worried. I'm not worried about the faith aspect. I'm more worried about the Walking Dead and the shells that like come back to life or something like that. I'm pretty sure we have to burn corpses to prevent them from returning. We do the bare minimum. You grab only the boot worn by the corpse and drag it toward the middle of the trail and spend some time surrounding it with dry sticks and grasses, then cover it with a single dry bow. The guts are likely to put out the fire soon after your departure, but maybe you'll be lucky. You light up a simple torch and set fire in a couple of promising spots. As the skin and hair starts to burn, Gordon gives you a weird look. You realize that it hasn't used any of this time to graze. I leave the torch here. I'll prepare another one before I go to sleep. Gordon rushes you with a snort. I ride away. Let us turn back. No, it's not going to let us turn back. This is going to be like a gauntlet, isn't it? Your eyes wander between the wall of trees and shrubs on one side and the dirty pond on the other. The road itself is wide, covered with soggy logs that keep the ground from turning into mud. It's breaking under your mount's hooves, letting out what sounds like a sigh of relief. The water insufferably stinks of carrion and is covered with a blanket of green plants and white flowers that draws countless buzzing insects. Even a horse shouldn't drink from it. Gordon tries to get familiar with the unusual pavement and speeds up to jump over a fallen trunk blocking your path. Once it lands, it breaks one of the logs in halves. Soon after, you reach a massive black saurian resting on the ground, enjoying the light at the edge of the forest. It seems to be ignoring your presence. Once again, Gordon canters. Well, we can't enter the water, we won't ride through the forest, and I'm not going to fight that thing. Once the monster raises its head, you're already in the air. The beast pushes itself away from the ground with its forelimbs, trying to catch any chunk of flesh with its massive jaws, but you safely hit the ground and return to a trot slowly. I pay attention to the dead trees sticking out of the pond. They look similar to that saurian. Okay. That worked. I don't know. I don't know if are we winning? Are you winning, son? The road is bright, empty, surrounded by sparsely growing trees. I think I just smashed it. I just like smashed into my microphone. Sorry if that made a sound. It leads you to a cairn, a pile of rocks ranging in size from your abdomen to your fist. There's also quite a few tiny pebbles. A narrow, hardly passable trail leads south, but likely won't survive another year without travelers. I look for the tracks that I found at the fallen tree. I take a close look at the cairn. I continue my journey. Let's look for the tracks. We are on a specific mission here. Without a doubt, the travelers were here, led by the person in hard heels, though there are more tracks around, both older and younger. Let's take a close look at the cairn. It's wider than two people standing side by side and taller than Gordon. The grass surrounds it tightly. It must be years old, but could just as well be older than any village in the north. You find rocks in many colors, including red, cream, white, black, and blue, and many dotted or mixed ones. While the cairn stays firmly beneath your touch, it would be easy to shatter it with a pickaxe or a single swipe of a dragon. You also notice pieces of old chicken bones pressed among the rocks. Unfortunately, no coins. South. Oh, look at that. We got little pieces of it. So there's a path that goes south or west to follow the track. I think we want to keep going west and try and get out of here as fast as we can. Unless going south will lead us out here, maybe? Because I've always wondered about this. Oh, that's a river, not a road. Okay. There's also a little path over here, too. I dismount and follow the tracks west. I don't like the idea of dismounting, but let's do it. They soon turn north into an old game trail, wide enough for your mount to enter the thicket. After a few minutes, and with little effort, you reach an even wider trail. You get back in the saddle and ride uphill, following a convenient rocky trail covered in sunlight cleared of plants. Once you get to the top, you look around. From here, you get a good view of the heart of the woods, and spot the smoke coming from the villages far in the distance. The further path ends at a ravine. You look over the edge at the gentle brook far below. The hole is too wide to be crossed with a jump, even for Gordon. You narrow your eyes. On the other side is a simple bridge made of logs and ropes, now rolled up and resting by a green shrubbery. I make a grappling hook out of the rope and the carved bones. Even though it may take a lot of time and effort, I try to walk around the gully. I don't have time for this. I turn around. I make a grappling hook. Don't we have a grappling hook already? Oh, 4 hours. After the 12th attempt, it gets stuck between the stems of the shrub. You put the loop around a convenient place rock and put away the unessential equipment, including the armor. Once your legs are swinging in the air, dozens of yards above the roaring water, you think about the warm beds and safe alleys of Hoblivin. Finally, you touch the other side. Your itching hands are red. I lift the wooden bridge and place it across the gully, then untie the rope. The trail is canopied by overhanging trees, and so narrow that your mount would struggle to turn around. Staying on foot, you grab the lead rope and follow the corridor carved in the lush thicket. I try to ignore the scent of rotting leaves. Soon after, the path widens a bit. You notice a shell larger than your own torso. Its 8 legs are as long as you are tall, clinging to the tree that's on your way. You freeze. The dark, hairy thorax matches the browns of the plants. I examine the spider from a safe distance. What are you looking for? What? Janal. Help me, Janal. The most dangerous types inhabit the ruins, or very lush and dark parts of the forest. They sit all by themselves in their webs, waiting for critters that have lost their way. Some are large like cattle, strong enough to cut through a human shell with their legs. Others use a poison-like substance that destroys their prey's flesh. It's impossible to list it all. They use either to strike first or to defend themselves. According to Dali, how to fight them? Like a really large one without a crossbow? A bow should do fine as well, but aim at the abdomen. A spear would be a good choice, and when it gets too close, switch to an axe or a mace. Or do you mean the smaller ones, like head size big? Because they often, I don't know, spit at their targets or something. You do not want to get hit with this web. Dodge it or get blinded. Maybe jump away. We've been blinded before by this already. Okay. We have a crossbow. Switch to an axe or a mace. Alright. Doesn't help us too much. What are you looking for or paying attention to? The abdomen? Okay. I look for something else. A spear? I'll look for something else. Rock? What are you talking about? Okay, maybe it's about the spider. The legs? You stare at the beast's legs, but they hardly ever move. If anything, all of them tremble at once. Eyes. The eyes and fangs seem to never move. the web. There's no web in sight. You are not sure how the spider manages to cling to the tree. Is there any bodies, like corpses? You seek any signs of corpses, cocoons, abandoned bones, but find nothing of the sort. Maybe it's not real? Maybe it's just to scare people off? I look for blood. There's no blood in sight. I look for babies? not like human babies. I look for any defecation spots. No? Alright. Layman's terms, poop. Alright. What is special to a spider? Poison? Yeah, I didn't think they'd find anything. Such an object around. What else could we look for? Let me read the journal again. I'm going to be taking my time because I don't want to die this far into the game. It's impossible to live, so it's something that destroys flesh, but we're not seeing any bodies. Maybe, okay, maybe abdomen, I didn't understand that, but if I just do body. I want to know how big it is. I look at the spider itself. It's large enough to hunt for humans. Its eight legs are as long as you are tall. Clinging to a tree that's on your way. The dark, hairy thorax matches the browns of the plants. I think that's important. It's hairy, so okay, it has to be real if we're seeing organic material on it. I want to look more closely at the thorax. The spider's thorax is close to the tree. The trees are young and lush, hardly reaching above the undergrowth and canopying the trail. The fallen twigs and bark were pushed off the trail. The plants are pruned. You see hardly any grass, and there are even footprints. So the only option is to turn around. I wonder if we need to notice something important in order to move forward, to be able to avoid this guy. I look for hiding spots. I look for tunnels. I look for prey. I look for rabbits. Let's see if I can throw a rabbit at it. I look for... Is this taking time? I don't think it's taking time. Does he have a chapeau, a nice hat? Alright. Ruins. Are there any ruins around? Damn you! They sit all by themselves in their webs, but there's no webs. Waiting for critters that lost their way. Some are large like cattle, strong enough to cut through a human shell with their legs. Others use a poison-like substance that destroys their prey's flesh. It's impossible to list all the tricks they use to either strike first or defend themselves. How to fight them like a really large... Without a crossbow, a bow should do fine as well, but aim at the abdomen. A spear would be a good choice when it gets too close. Switch to an axe or a mace. Or do you mean the smaller ones like that? Because they often... This is interesting. Something's not right about this. I want to do the web again. There's no web in sight. You are not sure how the spider managed to cling to the tree. I feel like this is a protection thing. I feel like it's a ruse. I don't think it's real. Life. Signs of life. I look for saliva. Is it drooling? What symbolizes something is living? I look for a heartbeat. Food. You see any signs? Corpses, cocoons, abandoned bones, but yeah, there's nothing. There's nothing that signifies this thing. The hair. Look closely at the hair. The spider's bristles are pointing towards the ground and hardly ever shake. So it's not moving. It's completely... Is it asleep? Let me look at the thorax again. The spider's thorax is close to the tree. I feel like this thing is pinned to the tree. I look for something else. An arrow. Someone shot it with a crossbow, and it's pinned to the tree. It's dead. Let me look at the legs. But they hardly ever move. If anything, all of them tremble at once? I don't understand that part. They hardly ever move, but they all, like, move at the same time? A wound. Well, I'm gonna do a quick save here. And what I'm going to do, because I could be doing this for a long time, I don't want to waste time in the recording. I'm going to pause the recording, and I'll come back to it if anything happens. Be right back. Okay, I think we got something. So I looked at the fangs, I looked at the trail, I looked at the plants, and I kept on just kind of repeating the same kind of answers. And then it mentioned footprints, so I thought that could be a key word. And I said footprints. It says you crouch. Some of the prints are fresh, yet there are no signs of combat by the spider's hideout. We can now say I'm pretty sure it's dead. You step slowly, picking up a long branch resting at the side of the trail. Once you tap the abdomen, you let out a relieved sigh. You observe the spider's dried out shell. In such a humid place, you'd expect it to rot. Gordon pulls the lead, begging to turn around. I comfort it with the sound of my voice. We've done it! That was awesome. That was really cool. Oh, we got a new symbol down here. Is that the I relied on my faith to guide me through these difficult times? I still don't think I did that. But I'll take it. We actually found a place to sleep? Okay, we can't get too excited. The path is beaten, yet your mount has to step over branches, large rocks, and even animal bones. While the trees aren't pruned, they grow sparse enough for you to have a good view of your surroundings. A pile of rotting logs, the remains of food, and even a broken wagon rest at the feet of the crag. You look up. The palisade has a massive gap in it, which now serves as a vantage point for a person you can't see clearly. They're holding an arrow on their strung bow, and while they aren't aiming at you, they'd have enough time to shoot before you got off the saddle. You've a horse, the masculine voice announces loudly, then stares at you. Thought a mad deer was running. I did. Almost shot it in the nose. Another pause. Who? I shout back. Stoutworthy! A Roadwarden. The archer crouches as if watching you from 2 feet closer is going to make a difference. He shouts, but more so towards someone behind the wall. Wait, another Roadwarden. You sure do look like you rode through the 10 swamps. Head up. But I've my eyes on you, I do. Yes, I do. The hamlet could be a generation old, and while the freshly beaten path spread trash, the newly fallen trees and gathered rocks make it clear that the dwellers are still altering their surroundings. The woods around you are filled with wildlife, crowding into tree crowns, grasses, and trunks. A boar flees up the path, keeping its eye on you as it runs. A dragonling is drinking from the pond you just rode by. There are a few people gathered at the gate, and more of them approach you from behind. You count 8 of them in total, with only one female face among them. All are younger than 40, with weapons at their sides or in their hands. Simple flails, 2-handed axes on long hafts, maces, spears, throwing clubs. Equipment so heavy and unwieldy that you can't be sure if it's meant to threaten you or to get through the skin of nearby monsters, if necessary. Some of those who came through the open gate have bare chests displaying their scars and bandages, but the others are wearing heavy jackets and look nothing like pure farmers seeking shelter for a night. They observe your mount in silence, together with the curious rooks sitting on top the wall. Interesting. It said there's only one female, so that must be what's her name? The person we're looking for, the bandit leader. And they're all like, it's all just makeshift weapons. It doesn't feel like a bandit place. It feels more like refugees. You know, like people who are injured, they have makeshift weapons and stuff. Is this like the refugees from the village that got destroyed? And then they've converted into banditry? But then everybody is trying to find out what's going on. Oh, this is interesting. So many questions. I dismount smoothly and stand upright, then give everyone a threatening glance. I get down slowly, then keep my open hands in the air. I think we want to go with this one. Didn't someone told us... Hold on. Where's my notes? Patronus the Digger Trapper, maybe I'll get merchant. Damn it. Did I laugh at the howlers Get it? Get the thing, statue of woman. Wait, key to the old watchtower is in Gale Rocks. I don't think we need that anymore. We left a dragon bone. Fishing village, trust. Damn it. I'm pretty sure we learned Glaucia. According to Foggish, we can leave the local bands if they face some sort of tragedy. Oh, yep. This is definitely going to be part of the burnt down village. Claims she's the one who forced him to stay on his post. According to the Pelts Innkeeper, Glaucia is more favorable towards those who don't show their fear. That's what I wanted to see. I remember them saying, like, she will take advantage of any weakness you show her. We're not going to show anything. We're getting down smoothly. We're going to stand upright and give everyone a threatening glance. We are not afraid of these cretins, these peasants. Most of the strangers meet your eyes. One of them puts his axe back behind his belt and then crosses his arms, returning your challenging look. All right. Leave here every blade. Tie the beast somewhere. He points his thumb behind him, leading your eyes to a loose stake at the palisade. Glaucia's on her way, he adds matter-of-factly, as if to a regular waiting for an alehouse keeper. You follow his commands. From afar, you hear the heavy footfalls of the person who joins you soon after. Her massive winter boots are made of leather that still remembers the garnet dye of the past, and have wide and firm heels. The bronze of the decorative buckles is polished without a hint of green. Her emerald eyes are running over your mountain equipment, reaching your face last, and with little curiosity, she's broad-shouldered, with a muscular figure and a round face. Her long, shiny mail rests on the green Akaton, making noise with every movement of her arms. Her right hand is tapping the hilt of her sickle sword, a broad blade meant for chopping not just flesh, but also twigs. Sheathed at her side, the short, dark hair of a fighter is carefully cut, and her skin is healthily tanned. Again, like, it's a sickle sword. They're farmers, right? I'm having a new understanding of this group of people. I wish I could. I wish I was able to play this game in like one full like weekend without stopping. You know what I mean? Because then a lot of the information we learned from other places would be still fresh in my mind. Because I feel that there is a lot of interesting connections going on, where you can kind of predict what's going on in the story much more clearly. It doesn't like it's a compliment to the game, because I feel like they are doing a very good job at building up this specific character and this area to connect with all the historical things that are happening in this area, to give a different perspective of what the world has been telling you so far. Okay. It takes another few breaths for you to notice the other side of her appearance. While she's wider than anyone in sight, she's more than a head shorter than you. You spot the gray strands of her hair and wrinkles cut by scars on her cheeks and lips. Her hand is missing a thumb, explaining why the blade is on her right side, and an old bruise surrounding her left eye hinders her from fully opening it, so it's difficult for you to match her gaze. She's just acting tough. She must be quite the fighter. She's performing I Try Not to Smirk. Oh, I think this is all going to be very important. Her hand is missing a thumb, explaining why the blade is on her right side, and an old bruise surrounding her left eye hinders her from fully opening it, so it's difficult for you to match her gaze. She's performing I Try Not to Smirk. That could be confidence. It could also be insulting, but we don't want to. Maybe this is just flavor. This could just be flavor. I feel like she's going to be quite a fighter, though. Like, with all these scars, I kind of want to be respectful to her. Let's say... I'm going to say she's putting on an act, though. I don't think she's this evil person that everyone's saying she is. There's something behind her. Oh, found the bandits' camp. That's the achievement we just got. A palfrey, this time. Her confident, powerful voice makes her straight posture. Matches her straight posture. She reaches for the bottom of Gordon's neck, slowly, allowing it to accept the touch after a moment of hesitation. It's more for running than combat, I believe. The Saurian was dangerous, but slower, without much stamina, damn it! Look, I can barely see with my eye covered. I don't even have a thumb. You look for a reason why she would lecture you about your own trade, then notices the curious eyes of her band, listening to every word. It may be the first horse they've ever seen. Strange, huh? She looks at you again and steps back. I heard about your arrival to the peninsula, but I didn't expect we'd see you at our doorstep. We don't have much to discuss. Tell me you ain't stupid enough to provoke my hand. I see no reason why we can't have a friendly conversation, and I'm surprised to see you're open to having a talk with a Roadwarden. Life gets funny sometimes. I have a few questions for you. I don't provoke. I either cut or I don't. For now, let's have a talk. Trust me, I'm far from being a threat. We definitely want to do that. It's either going to be intimidating because we want to stay strong. Let me look at it again. She's more favorable towards those who don't show their fear. A group of treasure hunters. Glaucia listens only to force. And looks for ways to display her own superiority. Okay. She's the one who forced him to stay at the post, became leader of a local band. Okay. We're going to go strong. We've never done this kind of response, but I think we have to do it for her. For now, let's have a talk. Her smile is brief, but marks her voice. We've things to talk about now. I'm all ears. Take a stroll with me. I ain't missing a chance to enjoy the rest of the summer. The tension of the group around you isn't as thick, and as you follow the woman north, the others keep their distance. I guess I go north. Look at this. The neglected path leads to a pond. Through the rocks sticking out of the ground, fallen branches, and the rotten deck covering a wide puddle. There are some signs of repairs made on the bridge for fishers, but there are also some broken logs and a boat with a large hole in its hull. Glaucia and two of her guards walk with you in silence, surrounded by the screeching beasts around and above you. She takes leisurely strides as you step onto the bridge. Looking across the pond, you can see that the woods surrounding it from all sides, like the walls of a dungeon chamber, with green and gray saurians basking both on the banks and the shallow water. The frogs, flies, and blackbirds shatter any guise of peace. The wood beneath you is slippery. Whenever the woman makes a sudden movement, you flinch, preparing your shell to push her away. Don't have any doubts, she speaks calmly, looking in the distance. I have little trust to offer you, and even less patience. It's better that we meet this way, instead of on the road. She turns towards you and moves her hand behind her back. But if you have no good reason to talk to me, then you can scat away. This land needs no soldiers, Roadwarden, and chiefly no filthy city folk. I could use your knowledge to help people. I'm sure you know these woods well. How do you know I have a good reason? You've been heard. Okay. I feel like we just respect. We don't try and go, if we go too kind, like we want to help people. We must help the people. She's gonna be like, aha. Alright, I can use you to my advantages. You've been heard. I'll see about that. I'll judge your deeds, not words. Without another word, she leads you back, then through the gate. The old, rotting roof of the only building is starting to bend under its own weight, but its condition is only slightly worse than that of the area around it. The broken tools, soggy planks and logs, the broken fence of an animal pen, and the waist-high nettle leaves growing on every scrap of ground that's not been beaten down by boots. The hamlet smells of putridity. Oh, I like that word, putridity. The screeching of animals isn't as overwhelming here, but unlike in other settlements, there's hardly any labor to fill the emptiness. The bandits either follow you or sit around idly. There's firewood gathered by the wall, and you see someone eating a piece of cold roasted meat, but it seems like no one is eager to grab a hammer, a needle, or a carving knife. Glaucia doesn't stop, making you follow her around the long shelter. She keeps her eyes straight ahead, not commenting on anything you walk by. With every step, her mail jangles slightly, breaking the silence. Your eyes either wander around or stare at the back of her head. You made Eason quite worried with your recent moves. I'd like to learn more about you. Do you need any assistance? You may want to stay away from old Pagos, has been struggling with a plague. Can you tell me anything about the undead in the north? Okay, so we can go all out. I'm trying to find what happened to Asterion. I'm worried if we quick saving. If we ask the wrong things, I'm worried that it could cause problems with how much she respects us. I don't think asking... I want to learn more about her, but I don't think that's going to do anything. Always talking about old Pagos is good. I think that just helps people in general and makes them like you. Because we're sharing this to help her settlement, even though she probably doesn't care. I found an abandoned cart on the Eastern Trail, going right to business. We do want to talk about that. But I don't think we found any bodies, right, or blood. So maybe she actually, like her band actually rescued these people, and we're misinterpreting it as a robbery. I think we started about the main reason why we're here. I'm trying to find out what happened to Astarion. She doesn't spare you a glance. So, there are some who call me Tim, who are convinced that you had something to do with his disappearance. Can you help me? So tell me what you know. I let out a loud sigh. What do you want? I think we've got to be really direct with her instead of beating around the bush. There are some who say you have something to do with the dispute, but this may only exist because we have talked to people. So maybe that's the one to... Okay, we're going to... I've convinced myself. She stops in place and her heavy hand rests on your shoulder, pulling you down. You catch the weak scent of myrtle, a flower that grows in warmer lands and is often delivered by ships to Hovlevin, a bit like sour fruit, a bit like mint. And who are those some? You notice the two of her front teeth are missing. We do not bend. We do not rat. I just smile. She waits for a few more breaths, piercing through you with her emerald eyes, then pushes you away and continues her walk. Let them talk. People will ascribe to me every misdeed or bad dream they have, but I have no Roadwarden in my stew. Yet. She wants me to do more for her before she helps me find Astarion. I know where Astarion went. I just don't know how to get a boat. And I don't know, like, well, I guess I don't know where the island is specifically, but he went to, like, some island. You may want to stay away from old Pagos. It's been struggling with the plague. She glances at you with her unmarked eyebrow raised, making the difference between the size of her eyes even more jarring. You think I don't know what's happening in my land? I don't need your rumors. Alright. I found an abandoned cart. She keeps her pace, forcing you to stare at her hair, then steps outside the gate looking around. And you drop this arrow there. She freezes, then turns around too quickly for you to notice how it ends up in her hand. Your fingers are aching for the next few minutes. Cheers for returning it to me. She scowls at you and throws the arrow to one of her guards. I ain't gonna explain myself to you. We needed tools and wares to sell, so we took them. The merchants are back in their homes with their skin untouched, their togs on their backs. They knew the risk and took it. You flinch when she reaches for your shoulder, but someone is already behind you, keeping you in her range. Her strong hand squeezes your flesh. Do we have a problem here? I shake my head slowly. I needed to know the truth, that's all. I try to shake her hand off me. I'm responsible for these roads. Don't make me your enemy. Whenever there's a gamble, I want to do the gamble. Without a word, I try to withstand her gaze. This is the answer I would say, but it could be slowly turning her into an enemy where she's going to be more suspicious of us. 100% we don't do this one. I like the idea of just staring at her. Let's try it. Let's try to withstand her gaze. She looks away after a few long breaths, then frowns, her healthy eyes showing her surprise, before glancing back at you. We said what we needed to. What else do you have for me? As she heads for the gate, her steps are heavier than usual. Okay, wait. Did we screw up there? She frowns, her healthy eye showing her surprise, before glancing back at you. I think she wants us to fight back. And she was surprised that we didn't. I don't think this is a good... At first, when I read this, I thought she's surprised as in like, huh, this guy's standing his ground. He's surprised. But maybe it's more surprised because... he's not what we're looking for. Okay, we gotta take that knowledge moving forward. You made Eason quite worried with your recent move. She slows down. The two of you approach the old animal pen. Though right now it's inhabited only by rooks and worms. She leans against the soggy fence, which moans in protest. Her emerald eyes don't hide her surprise, or perfectly imitate it. I suppose I should have expected Ison's boar eyes on me, but what does he want you to get from me exactly? I see nothing surprising in an innkeeper who's worried about bandits. To learn what you're trying to achieve, or you're planning to attack his hunters. Are we accidentally ratting out old Eason? I see nothing surprising in an innkeeper who's worried about bandits. To learn what you're trying to achieve, are you planning to attack his hunters? You know, let's go straight to the point. Are you going to attack him? He wants to know if he's going to be safe. It takes her unusually long to answer. Alright, tell him this, stranger. Don't sweat. The right leads my blade and dreams against the necromancers of white marshes. Also, bed with Anubis. Alright, maybe we're warming up. Maybe she's warming up to us. So, the right leads my blade and dreams against the necromancers. So she is against the necros. Okay. What can you tell me about the Southern Road? A long pause. A lot, but there anything you can do about them? Okay. Why do you target the white marshes? And why don't you? She turns just her head, giving you an annoying glance. What good is a Roadwarden for if there are armies of awoken shells right under their nose? I can't force an entire village to obey the laws of a faraway city. I'll put the necromancer's rule to an end. I just need to find a way. They aren't hurting anyone, really. Let me understand the situation better so I can do something about it. I like that. The brow over her healthy eye furrows with her frown. Are you that blind? There are necromancers in our land. What else is there to tell? These spells have been forbidden since the days before the 10 cities. And the way the settlements are looking away, their laziness, her tone is full of disgust. Their separation from all them rights written on our souls by the right. It lets the beast devour the last shreds of what we, as humans, deserve. She ambles forward without looking at you. I have nothing to gain from telling you some stories. Fight for what's right, or fall with all the others. Oh, man. Tell me about the undead, then. Her armor clinks so loudly that a nearby rook flutters its wings, dashing to the wall. They are around. She meets her eyes, tapping the hilt of her sword. Why do you ask? I know this is what she wants me to say. And the undead probably do need to be dealt with. Like, the city is using the undead to their advantage, right? To survive. It's not a requirement. They'd probably rather not. It's what they have to do, and it's going to end up being a larger issue down the road. I don't blame them for it, though. But in this case, if there are just... Hold on, I need to look at the archive. Can you tell me anything about the undead in the north? Her armor clinks so loudly that a nearby rook flutters its wings. They are around. In the north. That might not be talking about white marshes. That could be just undead that are somewhere over here and we need to clear them out. They need to be dealt with, of course. She stares at you, then nods vigorously and turns away, carrying on with her walk. You've got a clear eye. There's some undead in the darkest thickets and caves, but they ain't anything more than a gentle rash on the shell filled with poison. White marshes, with their dark arts and crazy warlocks, are the real danger, and a part of our work is taking any bone we can get away from them. You ask her to say something more, and she slows down. They ain't merely using their own dead, outsider. They seek the shells in the woods. They scavenge for them like... She waves at one of the rooks, which opens its mouth in objection. Shame on the villages that let them do so. May the right drown them all. Oh, this is a very stronger perspective on the world, and I like it. I like it. I want to learn more about you. She doesn't even stop. Hire yourself a bard. Oh yeah? Well, Foggy mentioned some dark days pushed you into becoming a bandit. Why would I... What's so special about this secret trapdoor? I still have that thing. I should open it. Don't I have that weird, this, a box from the dolmen made of timber. You can't open it without damaging the fiber cords. Why? Does this belong to her, maybe? I definitely want to find out if she knows about this, the box. But I thought the box was just supposed to go to, what's his name? The merchant in the big city. Foggy mentions of dark days put you in becoming a bandit. More of them than you can count. Or did you think people leave their warm homes to pick easy coins? We have survivors from the long-gone village of Steep House. That must be the name of it. A lad forced into marriage by some old pricks with long beards. A cooper whose daughter poised herself with a daffodil pie. A hunter whose home was lost to a fire. A shepherd who took an oath to clean these woods of wolves. A hungry thief who chose to run away instead of losing their arm. The guards are now more numerous. Some of them look down, casting you shameful glances, while others meet your eyes, keeping their backs straight. We were all wronged by this land. Glaucia carries on, and as her steps grow springy, her mail becomes annoyingly loud. And our work will give us our pride back. I really want to find out about this. I consider it. You wander behind her, under the keen eyes of other members of her band. Their harsh looks can hide their unrest. Giving them yet another hideout could save their lives during difficult journeys, but they could just as well use it to practice their trade. Ah! Oh, okay. So I don't want to give her more ways to rob people. Maybe I can't stop them on my own, but I won't aid them. I'll need to think about it. Yeah, I definitely don't want to aid them for that reason. I would want to give them a hideout so they can get out of this forest and just try and live normal lives. Merge back with the society that cast you out. Get a job, damn it. I'll need to think about it. Do you need any assistance? She stops in place, then gestures at a soggy bench. Both of you sit down, but your eyes don't meet. Instead, you observe the dark birds that are pushing and pecking each other over old gruel spread among the nettles. And why would a Roadwarden want to help me? We all need friends, don't we? I kind of like this one. A favor for a favor. She takes a few heartbeats to respond. No, what I have is a family. She glances at the men who observe you from a distance, and I trust them more than I would any stranger. She leans back and looks at the clouds. But you can do some small things for me, and not for free. One of my lads has abandoned his post and has taken something very valuable to me. He wants to start his life anew, so he won't use his name, but you'll recognize him. Speaks like someone from my village. He does. While her tongue is sarcastic, her eyes remain serious. Young, strong, with the pretty face and blue eyes of a beaten cub. Shaves often. The last tog he had on his back was our black gambeson, matching his short hair. But if he has any wits, he's sold it somewhere already. When she crosses one leg with the other, her mail clinks so loudly it makes you flinch. She reaches for her boot, adjusting it with her broad fingers. He doesn't want to be found, but he may need a Roadwarden's help. If so, merely tell him where he hides. Merely tell me where he hides, and I will find him all right. She strains up and rises to her feet, as if the conversation reaches conclusion. I'll drop you a few coins for your trouble. 4, maybe. Or I can give you a handful of arrows for your crossbow. I don't really need them. Ooh. Oh, but we're not skilled at lying. What did he take from you? A small supply of black powder I was saving for a special occasion. For one thing, I'd be ready to forgive him, but betraying my trust and taking her secrets outside is beyond excuses. Why did he leave your band? She thinks about it for a few heartbreaks. He's weak, she states. But after seeing your frown, she puts hands behind her back. He joined us not that long ago. He didn't have any drive, was merely bored with his old life, but was good enough with his knives to impress me. Turns out he wasn't ready for the change he took upon himself. And he left before he paid his debt to me. What are you going to do when you find him? What he deserves? I'll give her what she deserves. What? you have nothing to gain from all this, you could just let him walk away. I don't know if that's going to show weakness. I understand it. It's all about the respect in the land of the bandits. Oh, I really want to try and lie. But, wait, no, our character. Lies, hardly any. I'm gonna try and lie to her. I found a shell in the woods that matches the description you gave me, mauled to death by the beasts. And you're sure I won't find him prowling around? It would make me very angry, it would. After you describe how she can still find his blood among the grasses of the stone cairn, she scoffs. That's what happens when a wolf leaves its pack. She turns away and confuses the stroller. The sound of her heels in mail ruffles the nearby rocks. Let's go! Let's go! That lad just got saved. What else do you want me to do? She gestures for you to sit down on the bench. Come back to this bench. This is the quest-giving bench. This will be easier for you, though it will take you into a fetid place. Those cowards from White Marshes won't let us in. Not that I blame them, but they may welcome you if you have any charm at all. Staring in your eyes, she speaks slowly as if she's giving orders to a child. Get there, through the bogs, spread by the western road, and look around. Count them awoken and see which side of the village is poorly guarded, what weapons they have, and what they're made of. She sits down next to you, and her arm burdens your shoulders. She pulls you closer to her, and you lean down. The delightful scent of myrtle doesn't make you any more comfortable. I don't care about your trade. I need you as a spy. Someone who can shut their lips when they speak to my enemies. She springs up, her mail jangling. I'll have a small pouch ready for your return, or 2 healing potions, always useful. She sizes you up to a traveler. I'm not gonna allow her to massacre the village. I would rather try and fix the village. It would be wrong to do that. Her fist flies towards your abdomen but retracts before it lands, and before you manage to block it. And you carried such a promise. You're a piece of shit! Waste of air. She steps away, turns around, and vaguely waves in your direction. Her guards approach you. Don't show up again here before you have something of worth to say. The blunt edge of a guard spear pushes you towards Gordon. Clamber into the saddle and travel back to the cairn. We cannot spy for her and have her assault the whole village. Nuh-uh. That's not how it's done. We gotta find another solution. The painful roaring of a large creature reaches you from the east. We need to find freaking shelter. You look around, but the meadow seems secure. Wait. I just want to leave. How do I get out of here? I want to go back home. If we can make it to the gate, then we might be able to get to Howler's Dell. I take the narrow path south. I ride to a different part of the forest. South would bring us back to this area. I think we just want to ride to a different part of the forest. Oh, jeez. I don't think we're going to get out of here in time. I kind of want to open this. I bet you there's a healing potion inside, and we might need it. A light wooden box. You shake it for a bit, trying to guess what's inside, but you hear little to nothing. The cords are tightly tied together, and you can't look inside without cutting them. Oh, but I'm also a little concerned. I feel like there's going to be like some kind of poison inside. Let's hold on to it. Let's hold on to it for now. If we go south, this is what I'm not sure. If we go south, can we then leave? But I feel like if we go south, we just have to keep pressing on. It seems like this is you can't kind of turn around. You have to get to the gate. Yeah, like you can't click on any of these. Okay. I ride to a different part of the forest. 3 hours left. Oh, no. Oh! Where would you like to travel? To the bandits' hideout. East to the painted boulder. What the hell's the painted boulder? I don't remember a painted boulder. This? I think we want to go east. West to the gate. If we go west of the gate, there's going to be, like, things that we have to do, but it's closer to a town. If we go here, then we have to go all the way down here. Maybe we can stay at Yodosha's? Maybe, but probably not. We gotta get out of here, though. It's too late. I think we're gonna go east. Okay, okay. You're near the same part of the forest where you encountered the corpse-eating beast. The rocky hills are green with colorful flowers and the lively buzzing of insects. You seek any threats in the... You notice a single soul standing on a distant rock ledge. They call with you. You notice a single soul standing on a distant rock ledge. This has to be like Glaucia's band, right? I get out of here. Whom do I see? Oh, this is definitely a trap. Whom do I see? It's a man in an unlaced black gambeson covering a simple cloth shirt. He has a short, dark hair of a laborer, neither tall nor short. You see no weapons. He's standing near the entrance to a cave. He keeps looking around. Even once he looks back at you, he gestures no more, just waits. Black gambeson? That's a trap. That's from Glaucia's band. And she kind of said, if we meet you on the road, it's not good. It must be a trap. I get out of here. The soul from the hill remains silent. I won't stop for gossip in the middle of the wilderness. Nuh-uh. No way. Black gambeson? That's big trouble. Okay. Travel. We can't get there in time. Foggy. We can make it to Foggy. Gods be praised. Holy hell. Am I good to see you? I enter the tavern. Can we say anything? I like to eat. Brilliant. I have some things I'm willing to part with. Nothing. Anything is the fresh meals? We got one left. Okay, now that we know the hideout and a woodland edge, let's ask about these things. The hideout. I haven't heard of such a place. All right. A woodland's edge like that. We can't do commas. A woodland edge. The hideout. A woodland edge. You mean the stone we placed at the entrance to the heart of the woods? We did so 5 years ago after a group of traders entered the woods and never returned. They tried to walk around the spotted wolves, but instead entered a true dragon's lair. Okay. Just in case I spelled it wrong. Okay. Do we learn of any other new locations? I don't think so. An old woodcutter's hand at the heart of impenetrable forest. Thanks. Alright, we need to sleep. And we're gonna rent. What's our rations like? We're gonna rent. We got lots of money. Alright, I'd like to eat. And we have 0 meals. We don't need to buy any right now. Let's do a save. Time to go. I think we go back in, right? It's really early. We only have 11 days left. And then we got to go back in and try and travel through. How are we going to get to this? What's it called? The island. Let me look at our quest log for a second. We have so many quests that we just can't really do much. Okay. We have to check in on Eason for that, but so going to Eason can help us. We might be able to learn more about things. Glaucia's band. She's trying to destroy the necromancers of White Marshes. I should bring news to the keeper. Healing the plague. The tree eats magic, which can also be found in human blood. Wait a minute. What if we buy one of those stones and sacrifice the stone? It'll eat the magic. I think we gotta pick up one of those stones. Yep. It's probably gonna need more than one, to be honest. But we've given it a lot of our blood. So maybe it will work. Matchmaking. Timo from Hallersdale looks for a hardworking man who'd like to marry her, according to the tradition, and either move with her. Okay. That's probably gonna be... maybe we don't go back in and we just do some cleanup. We can talk to Ephron. Maybe we go back up here. Quickly to the creeks. We're pretty close to it. And we can start talking to people about that. Swamp Altar. Support for Hallersdale. Thias wants me to spy for her. The Ruined Village. The Necromancer. I spoke with Helvius about meeting with her. I should report back to Thias. I forgot who Thias was. Thias. The mayor of Hallersdale, right? Okay. Alpus the Druidess. Oh, we do have a flower, though. We have found the flowers. She wants it for her... Like, I think we can brew something with these flowers. I have no doubt it was Glaucia and the band who took people from the wagon at the fallen tree. So isn't this, like, completed now? The eastern path. I've restored the stream. With the... Oh, that helped with this one. Okay, yeah, we definitely want to go back and talk with Ela. Okay. Travel. Let's head to the creeks. Not too far away. Approach. I jump into the stream. Let's get clean. Look at us. We're doing freaking great. Ephron. About the hunters. We found Vaskal. But having little knowledge to spare, you can't satisfy his curiosity, so you don't really know what happened, just that their shell was in the woods. He gives you a long look, but finally nods. Any evidence? I took the earring. He observes it for a few moments, then let us sigh. So you did. They made this when they were but a little kid. He told me that once they had a child, they would never wear such ugly things. Their words. He lowers his fist, then looks towards the entrance to the village. I mean, it's not such a bad trinket. I'd trust Vaskal's judgment here. One bit of bad news isn't all, eh? Maybe the others are fine. Hey, where's my money? We don't work for free. I'll tell you if I find anything. Have a good day. What can you give us? The roasted chicken. Did we buy one of these? Hold on a second. Inventory. We did. And we can bring this to the necromancers. I think we buy another one. We can only buy like one of these a day. Let's go. Farewell. Ela. About the eastern path. I've restored the brook fjord that connects the eastern road with the heart of the forest. Can you believe it? I know the place. I don't think we're going to see that many wagons going through there in the next few seasons, but it may be quite a few hours before we're going to... And quite close to the beasts. You realize he's not much as addressing you as thinking out loud while reaching for the wooden case. His fingers play with the contents for a bit until he takes 2 dragon bones out of it. One for the labor, one for the threat. Not too bad for carrying rocks. True, true. Alright, the watchtower is clear, kind of. That's relief. He reaches for the case so quickly that he misestimates the distance. It falls on the ground with a clatter of a fistful of dice. Instead of collecting everything right away, he picks up 2 of the dragon bones that are rolling towards him. I need to make another one anyway, he says to himself, and pays you for the... He pays you, asking about the place. You mentioned the bugs, the rotten barrels, the moisture. Once you describe the broken door, the man's sighs. So we can't hide there for long. I'll need to build a new door myself, but I have no iron for the lock. He adjusts his furry cloak. And it was a quite expensive bomb, you know, the one for the bugs. It shouldn't be too difficult. We've started sending the foragers and hunters to further parts of the peninsula. The monster's still there, but a fewer surprises there ahead of us. The easier it is to adapt. I'm ready to help you with the fallen tree. Hold on a second. I'll see you later. Oh, I thought I might be able to find a hardworking man for the relationship, the matchmaking quest. Okay, Ela. About the eastern paths, I'm ready to help you with the fallen tree. He springs up and leads you to the square. Gather folks for the wood company, and he orders the children and waves to the adults to gain their attention. He looks at you with a smile. We have sharp axes, full stomachs, spare wheels, and you can leave your mount at a creek. Nothing like a day of grazing, napping, and shutting! Aye! Without waiting for your response, he addresses the approaching souls. None of them are older than 30. I take from the saddle only what's going to be useful on the road. After a few minutes, the crowd gathers next to the bridge, organizing their simple carts and wagons that are held only by ropes, joints, and leather straps. You notice that one of them carries a pile of a few bulky sacks, so you ask Shoshi with a massive axe about their contents. Just food, friend. She's looking at you with excitement, moving her hips to an inaudible melody. What's on wheels? Light as a feather. No need to hunt in the woods. To illustrate her point, she throws her tool into the cart next to her. I pile my belongings in a wagon's corner, covering them with my heavy coat, just in case I keep my axe at my belt. I'm gonna keep my axe at my belt. Like, there are horrible things. We're not taking any risks. It doesn't take long for the sounds of wheels and boots to cut through their songs and birds and things as your loud journey is accompanied not just by the sounds of trampled and kicked rocks, but also the conversations of the woodcutters, who are spread around without any worries. You cross the thin gorge where Ephraim the hunter is waiting on the side of the road. He stands still, looking around like a gate guard from the city. But once you get closer, he joins you with an excited look and light steps, shaking the wolf's head. Don't worry, friend. You may be here to protect us, but my destiny is to keep you breathing to the very end. And what happens after the end? There may never be one, or we may not see it coming. His tone is cheerful as he glances at the humble caravan, but don't worry, I have a feeling a good day is ahead of us. You move past the tavern and head south, where you encounter Ilan and Svi, the foragers. They move through the meadows with long sticks in hand and baskets on their backs, seeking food in the meadows while also scaring away potential snakes. Once they notice your expedition, they run up to the road where the larger man asks others about their health and days. After a few minutes, they reach you and Ephraim. You look both like a flock of vagabonds and a squad of guards with all these axes and spears, says Ilan. Weird to see you all in one place without the walls to hide you, crude as they are. This catches my interest. The palisade isn't that bad. How's the hunt going? I want to talk about the hunt. Ilan, careful as usual, reaches for his throwing club and makes a slow throw-like gesture. His polished and lacquered weapon shines in the sun. I hit a blue grouse. It didn't have a chance. Svi scoffs. Aye, on the third try. But his companion ignores it. And we have a few snake eggs and a good dinner awaits us. After that, they mostly speak with Ephraim about the mouflon he recently delivered to them, then turn back before you get to the stone statue, wishing you a safe journey. It's nice to see that people are relaxed. I continue to chit-chat with the hunter. I sigh, a hostile path ahead of us. Be sure to look at the bushes. You know, it's nice to see people relaxed. These are hunters. These are experienced people. We don't need to be too uptight. The farther away you get from the foraging ground, the more quiet the tribe's folk grow. The hours of wayfaring are getting to your legs, and the atmosphere grows tense as some of your weaker companions are asking to be pulled on the carts for at least a few minutes. Ephraim looks behind, then at you. Do you ever sing in Hovlivin during work? His words are so loud, you have no doubt that the rest of the group also heard them. We sing the songs of the sea. Sailors bring them to fishers and dockhands, and it spreads from taverns to homes. We still remember the tunes from before the war. The city folk find strength when they hear the tales of the town. I like that one. Our songs are a bit more tame than the ones from the villages. Some themes are too awkward when the priests are around. No, it's so done the laborers. The old times from before the wars. It will be easier to show us than describe it. You recognize Shoshi's voice, having little breath to spare. Don't make me sing. You can't be sure your voice reaches the last row of the expedition, but you do your best to portray the Emperor Adir and the fresh pork and bread he brought to the tribes. It balances between why can't I say this word? Solemnity and playfulness. I don't think I've ever had to say that word before. I know what it means, I think, and portrays a realm that has its worst days behind it. Solemnity. Solemnity. Once you're done, the tribesfolk don't say much until the woman with a big axe gets to your row and pats you on the back, then starts her own song that turns out to have an almost identical tune, yet the lyrics have almost nothing in common. It's now a tale that indeed includes pork and bread, but those are just two of many foods that are now referencing either shell parts or sexual acts. She keeps smiling throughout the entire tune and rests her hand on your shoulder. Some of the other wayfarers either laugh or sing along, and you hear two people clapping to the rhythm. For a bit, we move forward with our arms around each other's backs. Without getting too awkward, I wait a moment and move away and wonder which song is actually older. Let's have a good time. It's rare in these parts. I like these people. We can eat here, declares the hunter as you approach the watchtower and asks the people behind him to spread the news. The carts and travelers gather in the middle of the crossroads, forming a defensive circle, while some of the folks unpack food rations. Before you sit down on the grass, Ephron gestures for you to join him. Help me, eh? The two of you approach a wagon covered with a rawhide. After the hunter pushes it aside, you instantly realize what the man plans to do. It's not much, but enough for the winter. Watch out for splinters. A few breaths later, you lean the new door against the wall, then start removing the old pieces of wood, throwing them away. Awesome. I'm surprised the carpenter built it so quickly. He didn't. The hunter points at the marks left by the split beverage. It used to be a table. We had no way of making a lock, but maybe bears won't learn how to turn a knob. Let's put the old wood back on the cart. Ela will play with it for a bit. Sure. Some of the tribesfolk wander a bit farther away, searching the tall grasses for food, as if their habits are stronger than fear, but after the hunter orders them to regroup, they stay disciplined. After a short break, the expedition starts to restore its previous shape, while you and the hunter leave them behind, scouting ahead. The overgrown path twists between the hills and bushes. This route has issues much larger than a fallen tree. Your companion's voice is tired and quiet. 2, maybe 3 more years, and it will be safer to block it completely. Both of you reach for your blades when a sudden cry comes from down the road. It resembles an ape, a young troll, or a human tormented by visions. It lasts for a few breaths and ends as abruptly as it started, but isn't followed by an attack or even a footsteps. Stay here. I crawl my way up a hill and observe the area through the shrubbery. Oh crap, this looks like we have it looks like it's gonna be goblins? Oh Jesus. You push away the leaves, and once again hear the cry. It comes from one of the goblins gathered at the side of the road, none of which looks in your direction. Their thick furs and the shades of brown and black make you realize that you've encountered the very same pack in this area before. Most of them stand still and in silence, either on all fours or using their crude sticks and clubs to remain upright. 2, however, are hitting the ground with their fists and shaking the empty shell of yet another goblin, an elder covered with gray fur, whose upper half is leaning against a tree, while the bottom half is a few feet away in a puddle of blood. The guts spilling out of its stomach don't suggest a promising diagnosis. You get back to Ephron, who's too focused on his cudgel to adjust the tilted wolf's head. So these are the guys, I think we met these goblins before, and we tried to, like, scream at them, and they stabbed us in the back with a spear and that kind of stuff. So if the goblin is dead, the leader, I think that means they scatter, right? They get confused and they don't really fight. A small pack of goblins is too stupid to realize that the leader is dead. Goblins, more than a dozen, they're mourning their dead leader. So it's been wailing. I didn't know they cared. I mean, they get caught by beasts as often as we do. He then frowns, as if his words make him unsure. But after he shakes his head and adjusts his hat, his confident self returns. Well, there's more of them among the trees, keeping watch. Let's gather a fair group of fighters and strike them first. There's no need to hurt them. They'll flee from our loud wheels in large numbers. I think this is better. Because I'm pretty sure we learned that they'll just flee. There's no reason to risk lives at this point. We don't need to risk anyone's lives. But let me double check. We paid for the we paid for the goods. We might as well check it. Goblins are capable of mourning. We just learned that. There's still more to learn. They follow the smell of burning fat. They travel all around and move their camps every now and then. Still, what are the chances you'll find just a single creature? And if you see it, turn back. Its family's just nearby. And if you really want to hurt them, take care of their home. Sink it, ruin it, burn it, whatever you do with it. They'll move away. They need to hide from monsters just like we do. So they won't stay around. Okay. It looks like they can't even start their own fire, nor speak of this. Some people call their lairs camps. It doesn't guarantee that they'll flee. They need to hide from monsters, and we have a lot of people now. I think we're gonna. This might give us points with the forest as well, for letting creatures live. At the same time, I would like to clear these guys out. They screwed with us before. But it could risk the lives of the people. Like, that's not the purpose. If our purpose was to, like, we had a fighting crew to kill the monsters, like, we are clearing the area technically. But we got a wagon as well, and I don't know. I don't know if this is the right team to do it. They'll flee from our loud wheels in large numbers. And why would you care? His whispers get louder, and you catch a hint of disgust. The more of these vile creatures we take down, the more merciful the woods become to us. It's a pointless risk. Leaving blood and corpses will teach predators that there's free food to pick here. Let's not waste our strength before the actual work. We don't know how many of them there are. They may seek revenge once we reach the river. Beasts need goblins for food. Getting rid of them just puts humans at danger. Oh! Having this pack around sustains the road, even if only slightly. What do I like here? At first I was thinking it's a pointless risk. But leaving blood and corpses will teach predators that there's free food. We don't know how many of them there are. They may seek revenge once we reach the river. I gotta remember, these guys are very smart with hunting. I don't think that's really going to be a problem. It could bring other predators here. But I don't think it's going to be that big a thing because we can just deal with the bodies. This could be something. We don't really know how many of them there are. I'm leaning towards this one. I'm going to say that one. I would know if there are any massive packs of goblins in the peninsula. This one must be little, and we are well prepared for it. He points at your blade. We have a few axes that are 3 times as long, and many spears. The beasts won't know what hit them. Oh. Oh, I don't know now. This seems like... It seems like there's a purpose to letting them live. You know, especially like it's showing that they're mourning. They somehow have like human aspects to them. I feel like keeping them alive is going to help us down the road. In some manner, it's going to help us down the road. Let me look at the character sheet for a second. We have some spared animals. Depending on your belief, saving and sparing animals either makes you a weakling or soothes your soul. We have a strong faith. Hardly any. Okay, we got a little bit more. Maybe. Sowing experience small and gambling experience small. Oh, geez, I don't know what to do here. We have a few axes that are 3 times as long and many spears, so we could just crush them. I feel like there's going to be something that happens. I'm gonna ask him to not do it. Please, Ephron. The man squeezes Wolf. I'm taking it off for a few breaths. Fine. The sudden break of his whisper sounds like a shout, but I see no wit in what you're saying. Once you reach the rest of the expedition, the instructions are clear and simple. Though if few voices argue it would be better to fight. Ephron mentions your conversation says that we pay the Roadwarden for guiding us, so we won't ignore direct instructions. You make sure to be louder than you need, adding the occasional shout and the sounds of wooden handles hitting the wagons to the noise of boots of wheels. When you reach the bloody spot, you only find the legs and loins of the Grey Goblin. One of the woodcuns mentioned it's too bad there will be no goblin tusks for necklaces, and the other's not in agreement. Roadwarden asks for it, a forger responds, starting a wave of chuckles. The hunters seem grumpy. Don't worry, Ephron, you have many journeys ahead of you. We don't want to just ignore it. We want to go back to normal. I think that's going to play out somehow in our favor down the road. Did we end up getting more experience with this? Quite a few, all right. That's not too bad, says Shoshi as you reach the fallen tree. It's thin and we can surround it. The workers divide the tools and use the carts and wagons to form a barricade, explaining that they'll move them once again when it comes to loading timber on them. You prepare your own belongings when you notice that the tribe awaits your command. You can start whenever you're ready. I'll keep an eye on the surroundings. The broken wagon is the first task that the workers take care of. A few dozen souls that arrived here would be enough to simply push the tree to one side, and what would be an exhausting task for lesser numbers will take them little time. You use the crags to observe the area, moving around without haste. The distracting noises of your group scare away many creatures. The eyes that observe you are mostly spread among tree crowns and the highest points of the hills. You spot a few ibixes, monkeys, and many birds, but no cats, runners, dragonlets, or wolves. I miss sitting in a saddle. The saws and axes split the tree in a few spots at once, while the less experienced members of the group trim branches and carry loads of wood, until they're asked to replace the exhausted woodcutters. Then the work slows down, but never stops. And while the constant noise finally lures the presence of a small dragon that's walking on 4 legs, each one as large as a human, seeing your large group makes its turn back, even though you would most likely have been unable to pierce through its skin. After another few hours, no one has enough fortitude to start another conversation. Once the carts and wagons are ready, the crew demands a half-hour break. We can't really avoid it. All right, this is great now. Everything's cleared out. We lost some vitality somehow. The road back is rough. The heavy blocks of wood require dragon crew to take turns every few minutes or so, hoping that no one will be pushed to exhaustion. Crossing the bridge is the worst part. Lifting and dropping the vehicle is too dangerous for the primitive wheels, and one of them breaks, needing to be replaced on the spot. One of the foragers finally proposes heaping up soil into temporary, gentle slopes, which takes a lot of time. You and Ephraim sit down at the steam bank, observing the water. Let's hope we reach the tavern before nightfall. He states simply, oh, it is getting close. This was a whole day, too. You're so exhausted that seeking an answer takes you a bit of time. I look at the workers. You could use a better bridge, maybe one made of wood. Where does this stream go exactly? I don't feel like talking, I just listen to the water. It sounds like we need a better bridge, and we got the wood for it. Keeping it fixed would take many dangerous journeys. I'd rather see a proper bridge made of stone, but the old folks at Old Pecos haven't made one in however long they've been around. He leans back, putting the weight of his back onto his arms and observing the darkening sky. So maybe one day, when we have enough savings to buy the materials ourselves. Once you're ready for the rest of the journey, you really don't feel like getting on your feet. 5 dragons, I mutter. Almost there. Yeah, we gotta give them motivation. Oh, back to Foggy. They welcome us at the gate with a few tables, benches, and chairs moved outside the palisade, inviting everyone to sit down and eat. Though more than half of the crew has to sit down on the wagons. 2 of the foragers refuse the meal, instead laying on the soft grass. You all get a bowl of warm stew, heavy and fat, with snake eggs placed on top of a piece of pheasant meat. The vegetables are properly seasoned and juicy. Though you'd love to have an extra pinch of salt, the worst part of the road is behind you, and while people remain quiet, they eat with enthusiasm. The tavern keeper approaches you and Ephraim. It may be dark, but you feel as if she's covering you with a devouring shadow. Well, loves, how's the road? Worth the effort? I try to keep the conversation going. Heck yeah, we're filled up. While the hunter sighs, too tired to say a word, you indulge her appetite for gossip. You describe what you've seen, and she scratches her large chin. She seems unsure what to say. So the real gloom is behind the tower, but even before it, we need more work. You chit-chat until Ephraim starts to wake up the napping workers with his boot. I smile at her. No time to waste, I guess. I think this is going to be worth the time investment, for sure. Saved! A woman with a big axe crosses the gorge with laughter, and the expedition leaves the carts and wagons in front of the bridge. Seeing how dark it is, you're not surprised to learn the unloading will occur after dawn. Not like anyone's going to steal it, says one of the foragers, though everyone makes sure to take the remaining food rations. We were lucky, but let's not tempt the beasts, says a hunter. The rest of the tribe welcomes your group in from the open gate, and relieved laughter fills the little village. They seem surprised to learn that no one got seriously wounded. Ela and Ephraim shared a brief embrace, but the carpenter doesn't hesitate to mention the hunter's smell. You realize you also need a long bath. If they betray me now, I'll kill them all. That's a sudden change of demeanor. Time to collect my reward. The carpenter reaches for a little torch and asks you to follow him. 5 dragons is a lot, but I'd pay you 4 times as much for keeping everyone safe. You did a good job, friend. He opens the wooden cask and counts down the pieces of bone. Tell me, what do you think? How's the road? You know how a merchant may feel on it. It could be worth... It's shut! You need a year-long Roadwarden or a group of soldiers. It's empty but beautiful, even the old abandoned structures. You realize I've seen many, many roads. There's nothing unique about this one. Protect it and it'll be safe. Neglect it and it will be lost. It could be worse. It's not necessarily good, but it could be worse. The Eastern Path. We got the achievement. Managed to make the Eastern Path safer. We're rocking and rolling. Oh, I bet. He pats his stomach and pushes the coins towards you. It's all just a beginning, but so far I've no doubt we're moving in the right direction. I wait patiently. I'm a bit tired, Ela. The carpenter pauses for a long while, then starts to draw an invisible map on the workbench with his fingers, muttering to himself. Yes, he says slowly. You've already done more on the road than I've expected, friend. I dare say more than the outsider in this generation. The tribe can take it from here. He reaches for something resting on a log beneath the table, then turns towards you. You've already received your pay, but maybe you'd like to take a hair pelt as a gift? Foggy doesn't need it, but you'll get a dragon or 2 for it in another village. You take a look at the fine fur and roll into a more mobile shape. Seeing how Ela observes you, you tell him to just ask. I can't figure out what pushed you to be this much of a help to us, friend. I know some of the things you've seen were just on your path, but others took a true risk. It's just what a Roadwarden ought to do. Your pay was fair enough. Creeks is a lovely place. I hope it succeeds. I have my reasons. And it was those bathing beauties at the entrance. Creeks is a lovely place. I hope it succeeds. It's not about doing the job for these guys. We like these guys. His proud smile is followed by a victorious stance. It's one of a kind, eh? And living here is only going to get better. I'll put my whole life into making sure of that. He rests one hand on his stomach and reaches out to you with the other one. Come here. Another spring or later, you'll see a real change in the peninsula. I shake his hand, I'm sure I will. I pretend to be focused on the pelt, if I'm ever around. I shake his hand. We're coming back. This is going to be our vacation home. His large hand is callous, and even the brief touch is enough to notice the cuts and chopped off skin, signs of his amateurish labor. I doubt you'll find more to do on this route, but if I turn out to be wrong, let me know. He then sits down on the stool and looks at his tools with a big smile. Ela, I need to know what happened 10 years ago. Don't you trust me? I do. His voice is close to a whimper. But can't you see I'm in pain? I beg you, let me die with a shame. Aren't we friends? His hands are clasped on his stomach, putting pressure on it as if he's trying to stop some invisible bleeding. I want to be respectful to him, but we need to figure this out. We might be able to get it from the other guy. Because we are bringing the Glaucia's message. So he's not going to be, like, in fear of what happened. But this guy's got to face it. At the same time, like, if we're hit hard with some horrible things in life, the worst you can do is run from it for your entire life. At some point, you need to take the time you need to, you know, bring distance from it, do what you need to reboot yourself, to reflect, even if it means to change who you are entirely and create like a whole new identity if you need to do it. Sometimes that's the best way to do it. Like a phoenix rises from the ashes, you know what I mean? But no matter what, at some point in time, you gotta admit that it happened. And you gotta face that, and that allows the final piece of the healing process to begin. Deal with your shame by being honest with me. He bites his lower lip and looks away. Troll, piss and shit, Roadwarden, fine. He stands up, pointing at you with his clenched fist, suddenly filled by a spirit you've never seen before. What do you want me to say? That I was there, as well as my parents, and parents of others from our village, that Thias wanted to make an example of Steephouse and told us to either help her or be next in line? I knew it! You go back and watch, like, the first couple episodes. I called it from the beginning. Thias is not to be trusted, and I didn't give her any information, I think. I hope I didn't. He spreads his arms. I, the great uniter of the North, we went there with our myrmidons, left dust and hunger behind, and the beast herds came after us, angry for the burnt and cut trees. Too bad that Too bad that I'd never learned how to read. Too bad once that happened, no soul wanted to deal with that two-faced weasel. His voice cracks. We cut the flesh of innocence to save our own, and we got nothing from it. You flinch when he raises his hand and moves towards you, even though his gesture is not so much an attack as a way for him to let out some of his fire. Seeing your reaction, he slows down. That only makes his voice louder. You already know all of that, didn't you? And you just had to test my last wits for your games. What, you think? You'll take my blood from my blade and wake up that frickin' boy? Huh? Other people in the yard cease their work and observe you. You hear a child crying. I raise my voice. I didn't know you had killed anyone, Ela. But you're lucky that you face no consequences, even if you deserve them. Now step away. I speak softly. You're a victim, not a villain. Thias would have struck them with or without you, and maybe kill you as well. But you're alive. You try to put your life to good use. I wasn't there. I've no clue what you went through. Maybe you deserve your pain, maybe not. I won't judge you. I don't want to make this guy enemy. He seems to be trying to fix to right his wrongs. But this is pretty bad. Right? This is pretty rough. They want to make an example of Steephouse. And they threaten to destroy them instead. The great uniter of the North. So she was... Oh, yeah, this is rough. Angry for the burnt and cut trees. So after they went in there, they made an example of Steephouse. Because Thias was trying to, like, unite everybody in fear, I guess. Like, help us, or you're going to be next. We're going to take down this village to show what people are going to do if they disobey. And then, after that happened... the beasts came. And they were angry. Interesting. Interesting. In the grand scheme of things, like, well, this is a tough one with morality. He chose to be evil. You know, but at the same time, it's to save his people. So you're stuck in a rock and a hard place. At the end of the day, you still don't do it. Like, you don't allow other people to die just to save your own people. You find another way. Even if it's just, like, starting a new village or I don't know, working with them or try and fight back. Send in, like, a spy and someone to just assassinate Thias. I can't wait to go back and talk to her, though. You try to put your life to good use. There are no words. He starts swallowing his tears, then flounders through sounds. No words that can wash my dreams. I can't be forgiven, and I can't fix anything. He turns around and lurches into the building with his tools. Sad looks of others still follow you, but their life returns slowly to the small village of the Creeks. We'll speak another time. Having discovered the truth, you could force the people of Howler's Dell to confront their past, though they may not take kindly on your threats and requests. The more you'll learn about their deeds and conflicts, the more tools you'll have to use against them, if they will listen to me at all. Awesome. Awesome. Gordon is enjoying a cold stream and a green grass to graze on and welcomes you with a nicker. What is that? Like a... I approach the shallow creek. I jump into the stream. Let's go. Amazing. Well, we have uncovered some greatness here. We cleared the eastern path. We managed to go into the forest, brave the forest, and met Glaucia, who is a crazy woman. And we found the truth about the Steep Village, the ruined village that was destroyed as an example by Howler's Dell. I knew it. I always knew that was a fishy place. So next time, we got to decide what we're going to do with this information. I think we do want to return down to the Pelt of the North at some point to talk to him about the update with Glaucia. Maybe we can get more of the story. It seems like if we help all the different areas, we can learn more pieces of the puzzle and unite the tribes against Howler's Dell. The only one that I don't think we can... Like, we're going to have to choose between the White Marshes or Glaucia's band, it seems, because they're at... she wants to kill them all. So that's going to be another interesting one, to go back to the White Marshes. I want to talk to the leader there. But if we can get the magic stones and try and sacrifice them to the Beholder to try and fix the plague, I think the plague is going to be a huge one to fix in this world. If we can somehow figure that out, that's going to help. Like, everybody's going to be thankful for that. Anyway, we'll have to figure that out on the next one. Until then, I hope you enjoyed the adventures of the Roadwarden. Enjoy whatever it is you enjoy doing. And we'll see you next time. Get out of here!